Dave dead?
I think Dave is. He's given up. Dave quit.
Yeah, you guys fucking done?
Whoa.
So, are you guys happy with that? Are you guys good with that 20 minutes of bullshit where you sounded like every other fucking podcast? You guys good with
You
that?
didn't sound like it.
Dave
Hey,
buries our
the
podcast.
dark sessions weren't my idea, so don't call it every other podcast. We can go back to the old
I
format.
hope you guys are really proud of that, and I want you to release this shit because I can't wait to hear the fucking comments about how you sound like every other fucking podcast of repetitiveness and bullshit and fucking no structure. And
That's what the dark
just fucking
episodes are.
redundancy.
Don't get mad at me.
I really fucking hope you
let's
enjoyed
do
that. I really
let's do
do.
the legacy of Steve Austin right now if that bothers you so much.
Whoa, Dave, calm down there, bud. We're just talking pro wrestling. Hey, everyone, Cuz here with Our Wrestling Podcast. And in today's episode, you get another Dark Match Sessions. And Jess, Dave, and I go over the booking of Samoa Joe, unfortunately, the way he's booked to lose every week. But we first open up the conversation and talk about the problems of 50-50 booking, primarily within WWE, because they are the culprits in this 50-50 booking atrocity. So join Jess, Dave, and Cuz as we talk 50-50 booking, AEW, Samoa Joe, and more. This is episode 16, The Dark Match Sessions 3.
I do have a little bit of structure, not much, stuff that we can just kind of build off of and go to town on. But the first thing we want to talk about, because it seems like things are changing. And I know when this thing releases, it'll be a few weeks, so we'll see if it actually does change. But it feels like we're getting a little bit of change in the WWE universe. And we're going to talk about, because it's always something we joke about. And I know Cuz has probably this whole soundboard on standby. I'm sure we'll hear it. You book Samoa Joe to lose every week. We're going to talk about eliminating 50-50 booking. It seems like it may be happening. We'll see if they revert back. Yeah, we all hope, right? So before we talk about eliminating that 50-50 booking, Jess, can you explain what we're talking about, the 50-50 booking, why it's terrible, why it doesn't make sense for a storyline, why I would feel the WWE creative and writers are so frustrated. Can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah, 50-50 booking is more or less like them not wanting a particular superstar to lose more than he wins, or vice versa. They feel like if one superstar wins one week and then that same one loses the next, but then, that'll create like a competitive environment. It shows that anyone can win every week. When really that, like, you're going against the formula of professional wrestling when you do that. 50-50 booking is cancer. And it's been running rampant in the WWE
horrible.
for at least 5 years. At least they've been doing it for a while now. With the exception of when Cena was on his run, Cena never lost. But there's nothing wrong with that per se. I know half the crowd booed him and half the crowd cheered him, so people could debate me on that. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that argument. But you gotta have certain people win a little bit more. Like, for example, if Goldberg was booked 50-50, would we even know his name or talk about him right now? No. If the Ultimate Warrior was booked that way, would we? No. If Hulk Hogan was booked that way, would we even talk about him now? No. Their character, Hogan. Their character is based on that. So there are some you don't have to 50-50 book people. My example is recently where they had Ricochet win the U.S. title. Okay, great. He's a champion, right? Then the very next night on Raw, they have him wrestle in a non-title match, which is a totally different annoyance of mine. And then he loses to AJ Styles. Okay, the bookers are going to say, well, but it's AJ Styles though, former champion. Blah blah blah. Okay, I get it, but you just hurt Ricochet. It's not about AJ. So you're taking someone you just put a belt on. You're supposed to make me think that belts are important and that you're actually caring about Ricochet, and then you make him lose to AJ, but then all of a sudden your focus shifts. Well, it wasn't about Ricochet, it's about AJ. He's AJ, that's why Ricochet lost. I mean, I'm like, right, okay, you just fucked yourself. Like, so that's what I don't know if that even made any sense, but that's my basic example of 50-50 booking. And they do it, all the time. They'll do it like a champion will lose in a non-title match, and then that will qualify the people who beat the champions in the non-title match to wrestle for the title. And then when they wrestle for the title, they lose. So it's like 50-50 booking. You're just trading wins back and forth for no reason. That's what 50-50 booking is. And I hope to God that they get rid of it on both shows. I don't know. At the recording of this, we've only seen a small example of what the change might be. I hope, But I mean, really, when you think about it, Ricochet wins the title at the pay-per-view. He loses to AJ. He loses to AJ, and then he beats AJ the next Monday. Granted, AJ turned heel and he had, his buddies with him, but at the same time, like, I don't know, that's still 50-50 booking when you trace those last 3 weeks. Now it could start a positive trend after that. AJ lost and he fooled everybody and now he's got his friends watching his back. Okay, whatever. We'll see what happens, But at the same time, like, that's still an example of 50-50 booking. Ricochet wins, Ricochet loses, Ricochet wins. It just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't do any favors for the champion. Non-title matches, I guess we can lump into this too. Non-title matches are stupid.
I hate that shit.
They're just stupid. And it screams desperation of, we have to fill 3 hours. And I'm just mainly speaking about Raw here. We have to fill 3 hours and we don't know what else to do. And I know their talent roster's deep enough, right? Like, so,
and it makes it too predictable too. Like,
exactly,
what's going to happen when there's a non-title match.
Yep.
Oh, I know who's losing.
You might as well lump in there.
On that.
you might as well lump in there. Okay, at the pay-per-view, KO is going to meet Kofi Kingston for the title. But this week, they're tag partners. Like, just, you might as well lump that shit in there because that's a different form of 50-50 booking. They're trying to fool you and oh God, like, it's just stop it.
I'll disagree with you a little bit on that. I mean, yes. And we're going to talk about how we can make that a little bit better because we're going to talk about prelim or enhancement talent in a minute because that's on my list.
Get him mad.
And I know you want to talk about it, Jess, but I do disagree just a little bit with that statement. And I'll tell you why. And I know we talked about it briefly, just over text and talking, but Samoa Joe is the prime example of kind of how this podcast started and kind of where it lit and the fire went off. And it's going to be the soundbite of all soundbites. It'll be the OG soundbite that's not inside of this podcast. I think Cuz will probably have it forever as you book Samoa Joe to lose every week, right?
It's classic.
So
whatever.
The reason why that comes up,
I know Jess doesn't like that.
But the reason why that comes up all the time is because Joe's a prime example of a great wrestler, a particular heel, and should have wins at the right time. And Jess really discussed that, even though he was really angry about it. He discussed that in great detail, and it made a lot of sense when we were just messing around. And the example is Joe has to win when he has to, and he has to win in order to make his pay-per-view match or his main event match against the champion or wherever he's wrestling relevant. If he loses every week, what's the point of him even wrestling, a Hardy later on? He's losing every single week. Yeah, sure, he might come out and coquina clutch somebody, in a non-match period. He's not even wrestling. He just sneaks up on somebody. And Kofi actually made reference to that. Like, you're too big to be playing hide and seek, bro, which I thought was kind of funny. But, so what happened, just to give anybody some perspective, Joe actually wrestles in a 6-man tag, with Kofi in the New Day, and there's a lot of distraction, a lot of things happen, and finally Joe's the legal man, and Kofi gets caught, unaware, and puts him in the coquina clutch and chokes him out. He's done. The champion got choked out by Samoa Joe, and now you're like, oh shit, that can happen anytime, right? That's why you have to eliminate 50-50 booking. That's why your heel needs to get the right win at the right time. Now, if he loses on Sunday, okay, no big deal. Kofi came out. He's the better man. He wasn't distracted anymore, and he was able to take on Samoa Joe and beat him. And I'm fine with that personally. I don't have a problem with that. I don't care if Kofi's smaller than Joe or if I think Joe's better. That makes sense to me in the realm of storyline. So that's kind of where I disagree just a little bit. Just I know you probably want to touch base on it, or because you want to come.
Well, no, I mean, well, what exactly do you disagree with? You kind of proved my point.
No, I was when you said the tag match with them was kind of. I thought you said the tag match with Joe and them was kind of another example of 50-50 booking to protect them.
No, I was just making reference to a generic, like, how they've been doing it. Like, if KO is going to wrestle Kofi at the pay-per-view, then like the week or two before, it'll be like they're going to face each other at pay-per-view, but this week they're tag partners. Like, it's like I'm done
that
with
part.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. Okay.
And
so what you're saying is
Samoa Joe,
what you're saying is what they did.
I do like what Samoa's doing. I agree with everything that you said. I do. I think they're doing it right. I mean, honestly, during Samoa Joe's recent U.S. title run, they flirted with 50-50 booking, and it was with Rey Mysterio, but they were trying to sell you that it's Rey Mysterio. But God, just get away from all of that. How about this rule? How about any champions that are going into a pay-per-view and their challengers should not lose leading into that pay-per-view? which is basically like a 3 to
it.
4 week period, right? They usually build the pay-per-view, whatever.
That's how it should be.
Yeah. I mean, why even have the challenger lose before or the champion at all? It doesn't make any sense.
Hey, Jess, I'll even take that another step.
I know there's going to be exceptions to the rules, and they're going to try. I understand that. I understand that.
No, I'm with you. I'm saying let's take it a step further. How about, with the exception of maybe the fact that they might interview and they might get in a scuffle or something like that, or they do a signing, they get into it, and you might see a few. Big moves.
No more signings.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't
no more
even,
contract signings.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. But I'm saying, like, with the exception of the mic work where they might touch, they shouldn't even wrestle each other for that 3 week period.
I agree with that as well.
They should talk shit.
No, yeah, I agree too. Yeah.
Yeah, they should talk shit and they should kick ass on everybody they face.
And maybe if they're facing someone else, they could come down and interfere. That's fine, or make their presence known. I'm fine with that. You got to tease. Yeah. You got to tease, baby.
Well, as an example, you can have Joe wrestle Big E and beat Big E. Wow, he beat Big E. That's crazy, right? What's he going to do to Kofi? I'm not saying that should.
Or you want to get fucking fruity? Yeah, I'm going to beat each member of the New Day on my way to beating you at the pay-per-view, because then Kofi's going to get involved somehow. That's fine. Fine.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Yeah, what is wrong with that? I think that would be great. I think that's an easy way to do it. And by the way, Big E and who?
D. Bryan.
Who?
D. Bryan.
I'm just saying, like, those guys right now currently have nothing really big going on in the realm of a title picture. If they lose a match like that,
I thought you were referencing
Xavier Woods. Like, what's really the point? I'm sorry, not the point. What's really the harm in them losing to Samoa Joe on the way to a pay-per-view title match? I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And if you want to protect him a little bit, make it a heel victory. No big deal. Have him put his foot on the ropes. Have him get someone to interfere. I don't care. Like, all the interference that's been going on for these heel victories are great. I love when they get a little heel cheat win. It's awesome. You protect your face a little bit if you have to go that route, like a main event or Saturday main event.
No, I'm fine with Joe. I don't think Joe should be a flat out cheater, though. I mean, I know what you're saying. I'm not directly but I mean, and
I'm not directing it at Joe.
But I mean, like, Joe's somebody who
is a dominant monster.
Yeah, somebody should be a dominant monster, and if the champion goes over on Joe, that should be reminding you how good the champion is. In other words, like, if Joe gets beat, Kofi might get lucky and flip him over if he's in the choke into like the back cradle or whatever and pin him, but that's okay because that means the champion's good and crafty. I'll accept that. I love it. Like, I don't think Joe should ever flat out cheat. I'm not saying you said that. I'm just saying in general. Like, I don't think Joe should ever flat out cheat, which again is a trap that WWE could fall in, and they have in the past, where they make big, more than capable monsters cheat to win. You don't need that. Like, you just don't. The capable monster.
Like, why would Strowman have to cheat?
Yeah,
right?
Strowman should beat the shit out of anybody. But if you're going to have him lose to the champion and not win the title,
when he's the heel,
he's the guy that's going to show that the champion is a champion. He has a heart of gold. He could beat anybody. And that's fine. And then you'll still be able to recover the heel after. Why? Because you had him dominate all up until then. Yes, he did lose to the champion. But if you have a good champion... Now I'm getting off on a tangent. Now, again, if you have a face champion that's not really getting over with the crowd or being half booed and half cheered, and he beats a dominant monster coming up, that may not be the best formula because... like, you got to get a champion like Kofi that everybody's behind and they never boo. So if Joe did that, imagine if Joe beats Big E and then he beats Xavier Woods next week, or beats Woods first and then Big E and then all that stuff. And then he goes into the pay-per-view, but he beats him, he dominates him pretty good, because it's all about Kofi at this point. It's all about Kofi versus Joe. I know the internet fans are going to be like, but Big E should get his own push. Okay, fine. But it's not happening right now. So stop talking about it. Like,
correct.
And stop saying,
I agree with that too,
Big E should turn heel on Kofi.
Right,
I'm tired of that too. Because first of all, it's way too predictable. Secondly, like,
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Big E has way too much charisma to be a heel. He is so funny and likable, and that's what you should milk out of him. You should not want Big E to turn heel ever. He's that good and he's that charismatic that all you're going to do if you turn him heel is eventually his personality is going to end up coming out and they're going to cheer him as heel, and you don't want that. So, like, people who want Big E should get his run, he should be heel. Negative. He should turn against Kofi. No. If you want to kill Big E, yes, have him do that. And if you want Big E to get out of his contract when it's up and go to AEW, yes, have him do that. But honestly, if you want him to be successful in this company, you should not want him heel, and you should not want him turn against Kofi. That's the dumbest thing you can do. Because he's not,
and all that being,
because he's not a heel. Just because he's big, he's not a heel. Braun Strowman's a heel.
No.
Braun Strowman's a heel.
Braun
should be.
Big E is
Well,
not
yeah,
a
he
heel.
should
He's a
be,
face.
exactly.
If you just looked at Big E, maybe you would think he's a heel. But dude, the guy has more charisma than Kofi, and Kofi's super charismatic. Like, so,
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
fucking Big E is your fucking future face. It's written all over him. And, you know, I know
And
I
then
got off on a tangent. I know I got off on a tangent, but God, I've heard it enough on like chat sites and stuff.
You're gonna get so mad, but
Oh,
you know,
I feel,
Biggie has potential to be like your Brock Hogan.
Well,
No, that's
well,
ridiculous.
He's amazing, bro.
No, he is great.
I was
I
gonna
love him. I think Biggie. I mean, just I think he's so charismatic. Why the flying fuck would you turn him heel ever? Like, I don't. God, the guy gets out and he bounces his titties and shit. He wears shirt with cleavage. Like he cuts cleavage out of his shirts on purpose. He's great. Like,
yeah, it's fucking
God,
funny.
he's so funny. And but he's great on the mic. He's charismatic. Like he's funny to watch. Why would you heel that? Because if you heel that, he's gonna have to be the quiet, stoic heel.
Well, and the only reason why I make that comparison
you want titty moving to go away for Kofi this Sunday.
He has.
That's all they're going to make him do.
I get it.
That's all.
But the comparison is there. He has the Hogan charisma and he has the Hogan size, but he even, quite frankly, works a little bit better than Hogan. I mean,
why are you comparing him to Hogan?
He can move a little
I don't
faster.
understand why you're
He's a little
comparing him to
younger. You know,
Stronger.
I'm not saying he's Hogan. You know, on the level of Hogan.
Can't you choose a different wrestler than Hogan?
I'm just saying, you know, and
Brother,
we're gonna get
brother,
people are gonna get mad at us again
brother,
for talking
brother,
about
brother.
Hogan, but he's got that size and he's got that mic work, and people, like you said, they love him, and they would never turn on him, bro. They would never.
That's what
turn
I'm saying. If
on
you force him
freaking Biggie.
heel, it's going to be like when they turn Becky heel. The crowd will actually cheer. Maybe not against Kofi because people legitly like Kofi, but I mean, like people will be mad at first to Big E, but then what do you do after that? I'm not saying if Big E turns on Kofi, yes, you're going to get a gasp from the crowd. You're going to get like the quiet, like shock, like, you know, they're going to get all the face captures of all the fans looking shocked, like when Undertaker
Yeah, don't
lost.
blow the load.
Yeah, but then after that, what are you going to make Kofi, or what are you going to make Big E do? I don't know. Like, you're going to bury all of his charisma for what? Just so he could look cool against Kofi or look like a major heel against Kofi? It's only going to work for a little bit. He's your face, man. Like, he is. Separate him from Kofi if you want to. Put him on a different brand, fine. But just use his charisma. I mean, Paul Heyman's got to figure something out with this guy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sure
I
he will.
think they will. They will. They'll figure it out.
I think he
Well,
has
Heyman.
the charisma and, you know, like you said, great on the mic. I feel like, you know, he can get a really good run in as a babyface for a long time. And whenever people start to feel that run's, you know, stale, he has enough talent to turn that heel when, you know, if he eventually does, to be like that, you know, cocky,
be
like
a
that
successful heel.
Rock-esque.
Yes. Develop
Like
your
that
character
Rock.
first.
He has
Be a
enough
good
charisma
heel,
for that.
be a good face first, and then you're right. At the end, you could turn him heel, like in months or years from now.
When it runs dry.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
that face runs
yeah.
dry, though. You got to
you can
exhaust
do
it
that.
to the furthest point.
Yep.
You know who's stuck in that heel vortex?
But
where
then
he
there's
can't
other
get out of
guys,
it?
not to cut you off, Dave, but there's other guys that you should start out as a heel first because they really don't know how to perform. Like, and you want to kind of get them in that heel groove first. And then once they become a heel, like Rocky Maivia, he was a face first and he sucked. And then they made him heel, and then he realized his voice. And then after he got popular, like they were like, "Fuck, we got to turn this guy face." Like so I mean,
you know who did that too when they made that mistake and turned them heel?
Who?
The New Day. Same shit.
Well,
They totally failed at first.
Yes,
they did.
yes.
People forget that.
Well, they did. You're absolutely right. They flopped really bad. Actually, they were considering breaking him up. I'm sure. I don't know that for a fact.
yeah, turned them heel, and then
But then they started doing
everybody went
funny
nuts
shit.
for 'em.
I think all three guys were like, eh. And then afterwards, I think they kind of maybe got the carte blanche. It's always when something fails is when Vince is like, I don't give a fuck what you do. Like, and then so they do it, and then people start responding, and Vince is like, I knew it. I knew this would work.
Xavier said they presented their what they envisioned as a group together and presented the idea, and they said like go with it. You know, because
and then you're good heel. Like The Rock was a great heel for a second, and then after a while, people are like, how's he not a face? Like, and even the people in the back were like, how the fuck's this guy not a face? He's fucking great. Like, I mean, the people are cheering for him anyway. Like I said, when I saw a house show with The Rock in late '87, and he was already being huge. Like, and then I saw him again at the beginning of '98. Like he was a heel in both cases. I think it was the '98 show. It was really apparent, and it was a house show, and it was like fucking sold out because WWE was getting hot in '98, and and his music hit, and the place went nuts. And then the second he walked out, it's like we were the ones in character. We started booing him because we knew like the more you boo him, he's gonna be fucking funny. So of course he gets on the fucking mic and he's just like, I don't know why you guys are booing me. it's not my fault that you guys live in a bunch of trailer park trash. Like, and he's just going off on us, and we're laughing, but then we boo because we're like, oh, he'll do more, and then he does it, keeps going again, and like he just kept getting on the mic throughout the match too, and like just making fun of the crowd, and I'm like, God, like he had us in character. That's how good he was, and that's how over he was. Is that I mean. When you heard, if you smell what the Rock is cooking, I mean, the place went fucking nuts. Like, and then the second he came out, it was like, oh, fuck, we got to boo him. Because, like, he's so funny when you boo him. Like, so it for a while, he worked as a heel. And then they were just like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, he's getting cheered everywhere now. It's time to go ahead and put him over and make him face. But, like, you got to play with that. With Biggie, again, going back, you're going to make a mistake if you turn him heel first. Because we already know his charisma now. The Rock we didn't know before. He was the shitty Rocky Maivia, hey guys, I drop kick someone.
Bad.
Yeah, and here's a droppy kicky, and here's a little arm drag.
Those blue fucking ribbons on
so he needed this. But Big E is showing us the contrary. He is so funny. I swear, like, even when you just watch him in the background, he's like wiggling his hips and closing his eyes and shit. Like, he's so fucking funny. And I'm like, God, he's so
all his
good.
mannerisms.
Yeah,
he's always
in my mind. I could be wrong, but in my mind, if you turn him heel, worst thing you could do. That's just me.
So
now,
I want to try to turn it a little bit different.
Xavier Woods, okay. You want to experiment with Xavier? Sounds good. Turn him heel. I mean, and I don't mean
do that.
I think he's talented too.
He'd be like, I'm always the guy that gets looked over.
I think he's talented too. I like Xavier, but you know what? He's to me, if you're weighing the New Day out, he's third, and I don't mean that to be rude because he's funny on the trumpet. They all get along really good. They all contribute well. But if you want to do that with him, do that with him. Don't do that with Biggie.
Okay, let's shift it real quick. Do you think that when we talk about that vortex being stuck in it on that heel vortex and needs to be churned, do you think that Kevin Owens is in that conversation right now? Because it seems really weird what they're doing with him. Like, I don't know if they're attempting to turn him or because he's just in that weird void where I love Kevin Owens, by the way. Everything he does, you'll watch him on SmackDown this week. He ends up challenging Shane McMahon, which is weird, but then he wrestles a heel match. But then he beats the shit out of Dolph.
He gives him a stunner.
And people love Kevin Owens no matter what he does, even though he is quote unquote the heel. Is it time to turn him? Is it perfect where he is?
They only turned him heel because Daniel Bryan got injured after Mania, so they needed a heel to go after Kofi. I saw him when he was in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla live, and he was great.
Yeah, we did.
Kevin Steen was great. And
we saw Sami Zayn as well.
He was El Generico. And and like they were both great. But I mean, Kevin Steen was like so good. Everything he does is good. However, when you get on the big scale with cameras and hard cameras and trying to get your character across television, it's a different world than when you're in an indie arena. And I don't mean that against him. He hasn't found his voice yet. I think he's a natural heel. And I think that you got to let him rest there. I really do.
Yeah.
I know people want to cheer him, but you could do a lot with Kevin Owens and get him to get booed. He's got that hateability. He has this face that you want to punch sometimes. And I think that the fact that he's a little round and he's not in shape, I think you can play off that. Yeah. Not a lot. I don't want to body shame him because I don't think that's good for anybody. Even if I know they're just fucking around and they're just trying to get a reaction out of people, I think that's cheap heat. But I mean, he's a heel. So he needs to talk about his own body and he needs to fuck with people. And he needs to do a lot of that stuff. I mean, I know WWE's always
I might have a round, but look at you fat slobs out here in Pittsburgh or something like that, right?
Dolph Ziggler, the exchange that they had was Ziggler's like, said something to him about a hot dog eating contest. And he said, well, at least I would win a hot dog eating contest. You lose all your matches. So, I mean, that's funny, but at the same time, that's what he needs to do. Now it looks like they are turning him face again. What I can tell you...
But you're ripping on the hill. Yeah, that's my point. They're turning him.
What I can tell you right now is what I hate is the stunner. Why the fuck did anybody say
I don't know
use
why.
a stunner? Do not. Why would you want to draw attention to a better era than what you're in right now or a better wrestler? Because, I'm not going to compare Stone Cold against KO because we all know who's going to win that. Hulk Hogan will.
Oh no.
So I mean, why would you even do that? Why would you give him a finisher to where every time he hits it, you're like, Stone Cold? Why? I don't understand that. I mean, am I missing something? Like, how the fuck is that solid business or a good decision?
The only thing that you're missing, and it doesn't mean it makes sense, is that Stone Cold had to give the blessing on it. And so, if anybody's going to use my move, it's going to be Kevin Owens.
Did he?
And it's like, okay, well,
but did he though? I mean, we're saying that he must, but did he? Did WWE really give a shit?
I don't know.
I just can't see. I can't see him.
Well, why
using the
wouldn't? Because if they got permission,
what they something about it.
If they got permission and because when he came back, he was face. If I'm not, no, he didn't. When he came back, he was heel because Daniel Bryan got injured. So I don't know. Like you would think
he was face for like a week.
You would think they would do a vignette where Austin's like, you know what, it's time to pass on my bow. Like you would think that they would do that because considering, but I don't think.
Let me give it to this fat piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's weird. It's all weird.
I don't think they got permission.
That's why I wanted to discuss
even if they did,
talking about the heel
even
boy,
if they did, it's like when Flair
gave
gave the figure 4 to the Miz. Who gives a fuck? I don't want to see you do a move that reminds me of anyone that's better than you. So whenever the Miz, and I like the Miz, I'm a fan of the Miz, sure. But like when I see the Miz use the figure 4, I'm like, you're reminding me of the pretty much the greatest wrestler of all time. So change your finisher.
Nia uses a leg drop.
You know, and his skull crushing finale is fantastic.
A double leg drop,
well, if anybody used a leg drop as a finisher, you would think of Hogan. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
I don't know. Braun Strowman, you're going to drop the leg down. Why? I don't want when people hit, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, or you get big boot and leg drop. Why would you give that to anybody? Like, trust me, it's good. We're going to pass it on to you. No, I don't. I'd be like,
it worked very well in '84, brother.
So why they would give it to Owens or Owens would even want to use it is fucking beyond me. I have no clue. It's like anybody besides Natalia using the sharpshooter for a finisher. Don't do it. Why would you ever do that? Like sweet chin music. Why? Like why? Even if you're good at it, even if you're talented, like I don't want to be reminded of someone who's from an era that reminds me of God. Wrestling used to be really good, didn't it? Like, and that's what I think. Every time I see the stunner, I'm like, God, I miss Austin. Do you really?
Or Seth using the pedigree? Why?
Well, I mean, he did it when he was a heel. I get it because Triple H was like his manager, blah blah blah. But you're right though. But that's a great example. You're totally right. You're trying to build Seth on his own person, and then he hits the pedigree. I'm like, Triple H. Like, I mean, why?
Guess what? They brought back the curb stomp anyway.
Right. True.
Hey, which is fine. Use the curb stomp if that's your finisher. That's fine.
Finish.
So anyway, I don't even know how we got on KO. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't.
No, I asked the question because we were talking about the heel.
He's a natural heel. You should leave him as a heel until he really dominates and owns heel. Like, and I'm sure he's done a lot. I'm sure people are going to be like, actually, in PWG he was a heel. He went to Ring of Honor. And he was a hell of a face, Jess. Okay, cool. He was a hell of a face in front of about 300 people. That's awesome. And he was also a face on a stream that probably got like 50,000 views, maybe. That's awesome as well. But now he's on the stage where even with low ratings, they still get millions of viewers. So you have to translate yourself differently. So and
good
they're
job,
not
Mick Foley's son, Road Dogg, Goldust, or whoever the fuck wrote that.
Yeah, good fucking whoever's back there, like whatever, whoever you're hiring at this point to try to like turn shit around. Good job. Like like I just don't know who the fuck would be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Fucking microphone pissing me off. I think it's I'm pretending it's the bookers right now. I'm gonna fucking strangle the shit out of them. Like just fucking like great. Just get your head out of your ass for a minute. God damn it.
Well, let's shift it over. There's something that we wanted to talk about, and something where this could totally eliminate that 50-50 booking. Let's just shift it. And Jess brought up a good point before we came on.
Good job, Dewey Foley. Is that his name?
We talk about this, and we've seen it here and there. You bring out a new tag team that they're trying to push, and what's the first thing they do? They give them what we call as kids. We call them prelims, right? We call them local talent or enhancement talent. And this is where I think Jess is really going to dig in because this could eliminate so many freaking problems.
Give me the book, Dave.
You can pick up a Jack Holden, $500 a night.
Tag me in for a month, and I will show you how prelim wrestlers will change your fucking life. Like, Tell me about it. I get that television changed from when the syndicated shows were going on. That's when they did all the prelims, right? Wrestling Challenge, Superstars of Wrestling, blah blah blah. But the art form is not lost, right? They would bring prelim wrestlers out, and they started to when they hit the reset button a while ago. Isn't it fucking funny how many fucking times they hit the goddamn fucking reset button? WCW. So like that's what WWE has been for the past 5 years. Is fucking WCW. It's just taking them a long time to die because you have investors that'll invest billions in you. Anyway, so like you fucking the prelim is such the key right now to like softening your booking and getting you a chance to think, right? Okay, so every Saturday morning we'd watch wrestlers and they would be in a feud, whoever you want to pick right now. But every week they would come out on Saturday Morning Wrestling or Wrestling Challenge and they would beat prelims. It's not just that, well, we all knew who's going to win. What's the fun in that? The fun is, let me tell you what the fucking fun is, Mr. Internet fuck. The fun is is that you could actually see their offense and what their finisher is. Again, what's Kurt Hawkins' finisher? I don't know. Nobody knows. It's a fun game to play. It's called What's His Finisher? Nobody fucking knows. You should know his finisher, even if he's like a mid-card guy or lower mid-card. What was Coco Beware's finisher? The fucking Ghostbuster, which is a brain buster. Or he would do the dropkick off the top rope. How do I know that? Because he fought prelims. Even though Coco lost to everybody under the sun on pay-per-views or anything that was important, he always beat prelims. So I know his finisher because he would beat the prelims. It was just showing him off. So even if you didn't want him to beat a big star, but he was going to fight, let's say, Hercules at the next pay-per-view. Obviously, Hercules is a little bit bigger of a star, and you want Hercules to go over. But you're going to have Coco beat prelims a couple weeks leading up to that match to show Coco's what shit. Oh, fuck, if Coco hits him with a dropkick off the top rope, I don't know if Hercules can fucking get up from that. You just want a little doubt, a tiny doubt. And then that way when Hercules beats him, you're like, okay, I mean, I thought that Hercules was going to beat him, but you got to see Coco shit before, so you got to kind of know what...
It made the match relevant.
Yeah, you got to know what to watch out for, right? And all that stuff. So prelims are important. They did when they did the whole brand split again, they did for a while. But they only did it with Braun Strowman because they found what's his name? Elmsworth, what's the fuck is his name? The fucking one that
Ellsworth?
Yeah. Like they kind of knew that they were gonna make him. He kind of caught on. People started laughing at him because he had no jaw and he looked retarded. And so people were like, oh, that's really funny. Like, and so they put it in there. But prelims are not there.
I'm kind of retarded.
I'm kind of retarded. So that's very offensive.
He's throwing you off.
So I'm doing all the sound effects because fuck your board. I don't need that shit. So like, yeah, so they did that and then they started like, making him a character. Look, you don't need to make prelims characters. That wasn't what their point was, right? And then they slowly stopped after that. Like, Nia Jax also. So Braun Strowman was the male they were feeding prelims for a while, and Nia Jax was the female they were feeding prelims for a while. Okay, and then they stopped doing that. But you can't tell me that didn't build Nia Jax to a little bit more of a monster rather than 50-50 booking her. Like, you got to kind of see,
sure.
You got to see her beat some prelims and do all of her moves. So you kind of knew what to watch. What's her signature? What's the finisher? Like that, I mean, so before like Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins won the tag titles, their thinking was have him win him out of nowhere. What a surprise. Woo! No, like they should have just had him on Raw for no reason like before, beaten some prelims. So, they're a team now, by the way. And the announcers could play it up. Hey guys, they're a team now. Here you go. And, they beat a couple prelims. And so you believe they could actually win a match, even if they're fighting broomsticks. You see them win matches. It's important to see that. So then when they lose, you're just like, well, I did kind of think that they would lose, but like I know what their finishers are. I know who they are. I know who they're all about. And if they win, wow, I'm even more surprised because I did see them. I know what their finishers are. I kind of know what they're about, and they fucking won. Like that's cool too. Like so. There's prelims can do so many things for you. Am I even being clear on this explanation? Like, I just feel like it's so, and even like even big stars, like you're not really doing anything with Roman. Have Roman come out and crush a prelim on SmackDown for no reason. Why not? Fucking 30 seconds. He runs out there. He looks at the guy.
Make him look like a badass.
Yeah, he fucking comes out. Superman punches him or spears him and then beats him, and you're done. And then he gets on and cuts a promo real quick. I'm ready for you, Drew. I'm fucking ready. He doesn't say fuck. I wish he would say fucking, but like just be like, I'm ready for you, Drew. Whatever. Like that's a point. Now you've eaten up like 5 minutes, right? Because he has his entrance. He gets in there. He beats a prelim in like 60 seconds. The heels will hit him with their a good move and then pull him up before 3 count, right, and fuck with you a little bit and put him back down. Try to pin him, pull him up again. So there's so many different personality traits you could show of these stars, who they are. Like what kind of asshole they are if they're a heel, or what kind of good guy they are, like how good of a wrestler they are if they're a face, that they could do with prelims. There's so many different things. And if you don't have, more importantly, if you don't have anything specifically for this face or heel right now, instead of 50-50 booking them, because I just want to keep them on TV but I don't know what to do with them, have them beat prelims for a couple weeks for no reason. So you keep them relevant with the fans, you keep them like in shape, like in ring shape, they're actually beating people,
on TV
but you're showing off their offense, and even if you have, like Dolph Ziggler, instead of wishing him away for a while, I'm sure he's filming stupid movies and shit, but I mean, like, instead of whisking him, have him come back and just beat some prelims, like, then you get to know Ziggler again. He does his finisher, like, instead of bringing him back just to lose to Kofi, which is fine. I would not expect him to beat Kofi, but like, you bring him back to just show him again, oh yeah, that's fucking Ziggler. Like, he's good, man. Like, he's really good. I don't know what the harm of that. And you're trying to get through a 3-hour fucking Monday Night Raw. How you can use all the help you can get. 3 prelim matches. That's it. Spread throughout the 3 hours.
Throw away the toilet comedy shit and fucking put that in there.
Yes,
or
absolutely.
Whatever, fucking toilet humor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, imagine what you could do with
Good
the
job,
finishers, with the finishers of the Viking Raiders, or catching a zigzag real clean. Seeing clean finishers, great movements from these guys that should be dominating a local talent. The things that you can see and how easy it would be to just go, oh my gosh, look how spectacular this.
Well, Ricochet is a perfect example, right?
Showcases their talent.
Ricochet,
Exactly.
how would you typically book Ricochet? He gets beat down by the heel, so the heel could get all kinds of heat on him during the match, and then Ricochet will pull through at the end and beat him. That's fine. That's fine and all. But like, yeah, the main thing that you're going to do is you're going to have Ricochet lose most of the match because he's a tiny guy, and for the most part, he's going to be fighting bigger guys who are going to beat the shit out of him. Would you rather do that all the time, or would you rather every now and then have him just beat the shit out of a prelim so you could see everything that he does,
Showcase
not just
all
his
his
everything he
moves and
does. Everything he does. And so, like, I would rather see that a couple weeks here and there, even if he's U.S. champion and he's, Honky didn't wrestle on Superstars of Wrestling. Of course he did. Macho Man, when he was IC champion, of course he wrestled. Warrior beat prelims all the time. Like when he was Intercontinental champion, all the time. I think the only one that didn't was like Hogan, and when Savage became champion, they barely had him on. But I mean, like, it doesn't, like, Warrior,
because you didn't put your champion on TV like that.
They even did a thing where Warrior would be Intercontinental champion. He would run down and beat the prelim so fast he never took the belt off. Like, but it's funny. That was the Warrior. And so he went in and killed people, like, Jesus. And everybody that Goldberg faced, by the way, like Jerry Lynn, fucking, all these little shit people that nobody cared about, Goldberg would beat. That was the prelim of the day for him. Look at what they did with Goldberg. Pretty much everyone that he faced was a prelim, unless he faced a big name and he still beat them
for
too.
Months.
But I mean, like, for months, like Jerry Lynn, Ming, whatever. I mean, come on. I'm not trying to rip on Ming's legacy. He's a great wrestler, but like Ming was fucking low card. Yeah. He was low card, and and they would also use him a little bit, like Ming's super tough. Can Goldberg beat him? Oh, yep. About 30 seconds later, he did the same thing. Like, so it's like it's just but they would have Goldberg beat everyone as prelims. So if you have no problem doing that, you should get actual prelims in to do it. Like, and then the lower talents that aren't Goldberg like, you still got to show again. I can't say it enough. You got to show their character and show their moves. It's going to work,
especially because it's the WWE. The WWE is the biggest, and we got to say it, number one wrestling company in the world by the size.
Why do you got to say it? They are.
Where it is.
They are number one.
But yeah, but if they did the prelims, that's kind of giving you the perception like you should be able to believe that even their mid and low card guys are better than any guy in any other independent company out there.
Yep.
And them beating prelims and killing them in 30 seconds, that would like further give you that perception and that, wow, these guys are the best. Even their low card guys could probably beat like this Ring of Honor guy, their champion or something,
Yeah.
So yeah, the
it would solve so much. It would solve time
crucial,
problems, and you're fucking racing to get to a commercial break. Well, don't fucking insult my intelligence with a shittily put together 2 out of 3
have
falls
a
match.
5-minute prelim match instead.
Don't insult my intelligence with a shitty 2 out of 3 falls match. You fucking put a prelim match out there. Like, I mean, because then you could be like, okay, we have 3 minutes before the commercial. Be down to the ring in 60 and fucking be done with your theme music playing before the commercial. Okay, you got it, no problem. Like, Braun Strowman going out there and just handicapping the shit out of people. Like, it's fine. How did they build fucking Ryback? Prelims, right? All the time.
They did.
And it worked. And it worked. I don't care what people say.
It did.
If you really think back to the time before he lost to Mark Henry, before they fucked him over and had that shit ending with Mark Henry at WrestleMania, he was actually really over. Do you remember that segment when Punk was champion and like, I don't remember who they were kind of making it a mystery of who Punk's partner or opponent was going to be the next week. And then he turns around and Ryback walked in like the room and the crowd went nuts because he was undefeated. He was just like a simple like Goldberg Warrior hybrid. And like, I mean, it worked. You could say whatever you want about what happened to Ryback.
They were doing the right thing right there.
Yeah, but then when they booked him 50-50 and they tried to do all that other stupid shit, Ryback's stock dropped. Like, so God, they made him a monster off prelims. Like Lars, they did try it with, but like they didn't do it right. The Lucha Party, who fucking cares?
Oh yeah, with all that shit, yeah.
Yeah, and and a lot of people, and once it broke out that he did racist text a long time ago or racist messages or whatever he did, like I think that kind of killed him in the water. But I mean, like,
well, that and an injury.
Yeah, and then injury on top of it too. But yeah, if you fucking had Lars out there just beating prelims straight up for a while and not putting him there, because Lucha Party, they're kind of names, so don't do it. Like, just do prelims. Farmer 10 motherfuckers. Fucking me. Beat me. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
People that have no
fat
relevance
gut,
to the
fucking
to
pasty
the,
white,
company.
fucking beat me. Like, you know, and like, that's fine. Yeah, just let people see what's his finisher, what's his specialty moves leading up to the finisher. What is his, you know, yeah, give him a little shit. Like, you know, he hits his finisher, he pulls the guy up after 2, and he's like, no, not yet. Like, that's just a nice heel move you can kind of use to get people thinking the way you want them to think about this guy. Like,
Sure.
it's so.
Especially if they have to stretch it, they can.
I'm
they
not
can do
saying
that,
it's
but,
easy.
hey,
I've
here we
never
go,
ran my
stretch.
own wrestling company, right? This whole podcast is on our perspective as fans. But like, it's easy in the sense of we've seen this work over and over and over again. And instead of them doing it, they're like, no, we'll do 50-50 booking. Why? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. It's right in front of your fucking face. You have time problems. If I wanted to stretch time and try to make a 3-hour show be interesting, that's what I would fucking do. I'd make sure that everybody knew my character's finishers and their little quirks and their little, you know, their signature poses and shit. Like, just get, you know, it's so easy to do.
And just to kind of finalize that up, I think it would cut down on injuries. I think it would make things easier. I think there would be less stress, you know, and the morale of the locker room would pick up because guys are picking up victories and they feel like, hey, no matter what, at least I'm being built up. I'm not losing all the time, or I'm not going back and forth with nothing makes
Maybe
sense.
the general
They've
point,
got something
maybe
for
the
me.
general point we should be arguing is that wins matter and they should start mattering again. Wins and losses matter.
Yeah,
They just do.
yeah,
They do.
And the prelims help with that. The
JR
prelims
said it
can
on,
assist.
you know, because he does this podcast with Conrad called Grillin' JR. And he said it, he was talking about a particular story and he was actually being shitty towards Vince. And he was like, you know what, Mr. Sports Entertainment, whether you like it or not, you're in the professional wrestling business and you always will be. And that is so true. So
It's
anytime,
fucking
Mr.
fact.
Entertainment, that you want to fucking think that you're bigger than what you are, which is a professional wrestling company, that's when you get into trouble. And you've gotten into major ratings trouble and attendance trouble. So if you don't see it, maybe you are old, bro. Maybe you got to fucking move over. Like,
What do you?
but
Oh, I was going
Go
to
ahead,
ask a
guys.
question. What do you think about? Because it kind of relates along those terms. Pro wrestling, you know, JR's old school. He'd rather it, you know, be referred to as
I don't
pro
even know.
wrestling.
I hate the phrase old school, you know, like Jim
Well,
Cornette,
you know what I mean, though. Pro
Jim
wrestling.
Cornette he does come across as like this rickety old man, Jim Cornette, but he's not, his principles are not far off from what should be happening. I mean, it's funny that people want to shit on Jim Cornette and say, oh, you're just old school.
Oh, dude.
But
people are
I don't know
dumb.
what's
Shit
today's
on it.
wrestling doing. Yeah, you could say AEW is hot or whatever and blah blah blah, but that's a backlash of what WWE is not doing for people, right? Like, isn't that fair to say? So you can call Jim
Sure.
Cornette old school all you want to, and I know you just said that phrase because I'm not talking to you, but I mean, like, you can call Jim Cornette or Jim Ross old school all you want to, but like, they were talking about times of, oh, remember when wrestling made a lot of money? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so that's all they're trying to say. Yeah, Jim Cornette's a little fuddy duddy with fucking Joey Ryan and all that stuff, whatever. But at the same time, like, he's not old school. It's not a bad word to me. It's just a dumb phrase because everybody's
It's
got
not to me. That's what
Yeah.
I look at it as positive. Well, when it comes to pro wrestling, because I love when it's referred to as pro wrestling, pro wrestlers.
It
when it's a
worked.
sports emulation. Yes,
It worked. It made tons of money. Like, you know,
Well, what do you-
yeah.
the
There
question
were
I wanted to
times
ask
where,
about
like,
that.
you know, they were out of tune with the audience, like in the mid '90s when the fucking plumbers and the ninjas and all the Tatankas and all that were there. Like, I get it, you know, like they kind of lost touch, but as long as you don't ever lose like that, I hate to say it, it's a fucking lame word, kayfabe, like, you know, and all that. I think Paul Heyman released a press release last week when he, you know, finally talked about his new position. Is that I think people see behind the curtain way too much, and he's right. Like,
It's
but
bullshit.
that
Yeah, I
that
get
goes
that.
back to old school, if you want to call it that, because like you just.
Well, it's pro wrestling done right.
Yeah, fuck. Like, I mean, you know, sometimes the Christian Bale shit will leak, or sometimes, like, you know, they'll show you pictures of how the Avengers are really just acting in front of a green screen. But I don't want to see too much of that, right? I want to see the fucking movie. And that's all
Yes.
I want. I mean, like, you know, yeah, we watch the
I'll
making
trash
of
your
because,
fucking lights.
you know, maybe on a DVD release to promote the DVD sales, they'll be like, yeah, enjoy the making of. Fine, sounds good. But wrestling doesn't have to be like that. I know we make movies, pal, but like, we don't really need to show behind the curtain that much anymore. And I really hope it starts closing because as much as we can get all the shit we want on the internet, right? And understand how pro wrestling works behind the scenes. I don't need fucking, Vince telling us all the time, or go on the internet or go on the network and watch the ride along where you can watch faces and heels ride together and have a great time. Like, come on. Like, so if you want to call it old school, great. I'm not talking at you guys, but if you want to call it old school and grown when people say old school, that's fine. But like that worked though. Like, no, I don't. A lot of money.
I think of it in positive light.
Yeah.
But the question I wanted to ask about that, just because we were talking about all that, what do you think of? And I'm just going by this because of what I've seen, a lot on the internet as far as from wrestlers, young up and coming wrestlers on the indie scene or in Impact or wherever, about how they kind of just mock it. And for example, one wrestler, I saw them say, I've been off Twitter for a while and I came back on today. Are we still arguing about who fake fights the best? And this is a pro wrestler saying this. What do you think about that? I hate that shit.
It was the girl wrestler, right?
Yeah, Jordan Grace.
But why are you mad at her for saying that? I mean, she was just obviously saying that to get hits, but it's like people are fighting over it. So you can get mad at her comment, calling it fake wrestling or fake fighting. But like really, like people are just carrying on like fucking dorks. Like honestly,
because they're tools, bro. They're fucking tools.
You could blame Seth, you could blame Ricochet, you could blame whoever. But bottom line is they're both in different promotions, so it's not like we're going to see them face off anyway, and it doesn't really matter. And really, the joke's on Seth Rollins, and I don't think he really realizes what a dumb shit he looks like, because I get that he's just trying to be a company man. He was probably motivated, to come on, do that or whatever. And then ironically, they probably told him to apologize at the same time. But at the same time, but again,
that's the rumor that.
Yeah, but that's what kind of dumb shit dysfunctional company you're in right now. So I mean, like, what's the surprise? I don't mind Seth Rollins doing that, but you know what?
Oh, I don't mind Rollins doing that.
If I ran my own company, I honestly think I would have some kind of social media clause in their contract or something where it's like, look, I'm not saying I want their social media accounts to be all kayfabe, because I think people will shit on that too. But at the same time, like, you could post pictures of you working out by yourself or what you're drinking that day, or look at this protein shake I'm drinking. I should shove it up my ass. Like, whatever, that's fine. Or here's a picture of my wife that's not in the business or whatever. Or here's my kids. That's fine. That's what social media is for. But whenever they start like hugging each other and it's like, a heel is hugging a face on the social media account, or they're all hanging out or whatever. Like, I mean, can't you put a stop to that shit?
Well, that's kind of what I'm referring to, though. That's what I mean. Like, all that wrapped up in the bundle. Jordan Grace saying that. There's other wrestlers who refer to it as that way too. Fake fighting this, fake fighting that. But also, I lumped that in too because I saw another heel wrestler. She posted a picture because it was someone else's birthday. I forget who. But the other wrestler was a face, and her saying like, "Oh, happy birthday to my friend. Thank you for always lifting me." And it's like, they had a match, and the girl was lifting her up, the person she was wishing happy birthday. But it's like all that shit lumped up. I don't like any of that shit when wrestlers are doing that, when they are, just pushing that they're breaking.
Because originally it was all kayfabe in the sense that we all knew what it was, and the wrestlers knew what it was. They were all buddies in the background. But on TV, it was the show. That's how you draw money from the crowd, is you make them suspend disbelief or believe in your character. A lot more people are on the internet now than ever before. So the chances of, a picture on the internet, on Instagram or whatever, of a face hugging a heel or just hanging out together, that's going to get seen a lot more. And sometimes news outlets pick that shit up and then post it. So it's you're hurting your own product. And I get they're saying fake wrestling because they're trying to be smart and intelligent. If I call it fake wrestling and down it, then nobody could really combat me. I mean, my comment's so smart and funny. And I'm saying it's fake, so they can't call me fake anymore, right? So I win. Haha. You win what? You win a fucking tweet? You win a fucking Instagram post?
Like, I think a lot of it is because they want to push back against the quote old school mentality.
Indie wrestlers need their social media accounts to sell merchandise and stuff, and I get that. But like happy birthday and all that stuff. Like, just cut that shit out. If you want to take and you know what, just cut it out. Like,
yes, just
Joey Ryan only gets on his social media whenever people attack him. Joey Ryan actually doesn't really ever try to break kayfabe on it. He breaks it in the ring, which is why Joey Ryan is so successful, because he tongues and cheeks it. He never really gets on social media and says anything's fake per se. He just posts shit of him, someone grabbing his crotch and him crotch flipping them, which you would be like, oh, fucking, but he's doing it in the ring. The funny thing is Joey Ryan is the only one that could do it. Now a bunch of other people want to do it, and that sucks. There's always going to be copycats. But Joey Ryan was the first one to do it. And Joey Ryan makes six figures doing what he's doing, by the way. And so, like, yeah, the joke's on us. Like, but at the same time, and Joey Ryan's really talented and really charismatic. And the thing is he is actually doing it on purpose to shit on the wrestling industry because he has the charisma and he has everything that everyone's looking for, but he doesn't want to play the politics a lot. So Joey Ryan's like, I just want to fucking wrestle, man. If you don't want to let me wrestle, then guess what? I'm going to fucking expose it, but I'm going to do it in a way where, you know what I mean? And then that fucking clip went viral the first time in Japan he did the crotch flip thing. I mean, people were covering it on Joe Rogan's podcast, media outlets, like everybody was covering it. And so now it's fun to pull your tampons out and shit and do the thing, whatever.
And puke down someone's throat or
yeah, and all that stuff. And I'm not saying I like that. I'm not saying I like that. It's just, there's always going to be a product of what happens. Unfortunately, there's going to be a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. I get it, but that's why I think the big promotions like WWE mainly and everybody else should straighten their shit up. And you got to have a yin and yang, right? You got to have like the right way it's done, and then you got to have the wrong way it's done, and you can choose in the middle. Right now, all of this, and I know because we've gotten the debate on this before, all of this is due for WWF sucking. They're the only show in town. They're the biggest company. They're major national. Because they suck, people now need to go elsewhere. And AEW has 2 shows, and they're like, oh man, they're fucking WWE up. They're gonna put them out of business.
No,
some people are really
light,
saying that stupid shit. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But you know what, though? I blame WWE for those comments because they're the ones that fucking sucked so bad that made that, these wrestling fans don't want to quit.
It lowered the standard.
They don't want to stop wrestling. A lot of the wrestling audience has stopped watching. You could look at the ratings and see that and look at attendance. But I mean, like, the hardcores are still like, we don't want to go. We don't want to stop watching wrestling. So we're going to love Joey Ryan and his crotch flips. We're going to love the throwing up in the mouth. We're going to love this and we're going to love that because we just don't want to go. Don't make us go. God damn it. Like, but WWE's still like, we're going to force you. We're going to 50-50 book. We're going to do this.
Where's the sideshow wrestling show that has Hogan sucking his own dick in the middle of the ring?
I think it's called the O.W.P podcast is where that happens.
Fuck.
That all that being said,
you can say whatever you want. And to sum it up, you can say whatever you want about Joey Ryan and that type of humor. It's because of the WWE, because they're the only show left in town. They bought WCW out in 2001. They bought ECW out, which wasn't really a national company anyway. ECW. And so as fondly as people remember it, it wasn't. It was an indie promotion. So that I'm fucking deal with it because it was. But it did influence the industry because when it sucked, Paul Heyman, that's how good Paul Heyman is. Like, he knew great booking on a national level. He wanted to do that for WCW, but they fucking fired him. So he went and started his own promotion. So, I mean, like, ECW had a place. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying, like, it never rose to national. We think it's this huge legend, and it is, but it's not at the same time. But at the same time, now we have Paul Heyman there who could fucking save us if we want. If WWE gets better and they start doing it correctly, and I'm not saying, correctly, just you've never ran your own wrestling business. True, but go fuck yourself because I don't care. I've paid enough money, trust me, in all the monthly pay-per-views I've gotten and the live shows.
Their flaws are fucking obvious.
I pay for my opinion. I don't buy their houses like people say. I paid for your house, motherfucker, when I buy a ticket. That's the dumbest comment I've ever heard of. Yeah, I pay for my opinion when I put money into wrestling. That's why. Yep. I don't illegally stream stuff.
You pay $10 a month for it.
When WCW and WWF were going at it, I bought both their 2 pay-per-views a month. I bought, like, paid fucking money for them. Every now and then I would get ECW here and there if I thought a good match was going on. And so, and I watched every week, and I went to their house shows, and I went to pay-per-views, and I went to all that stuff. So we bought our opinion by doing that. So that's why I can say it, even though I've never been in the business or I've never ran my own company. Whatever, I've bought my opinion, fucker. You buy shit in America. That's what you do here.
Well, it's like if you buy a video game, if you had a problem with it, you can fucking bitch about it because you spent like $100 on it.
Yeah, I fucking bought it, so I could say it sucks or I could say it's great. So, and that's the whole point. But WWE has driven us all so much over the last 5 years, just the most recent chunk of time I could think of, in that, they just fucking, again, they 50-50 booked us. They fucking insulted our intelligence. They tried to push people down our throats that we clearly booed. Whatever happened to that, right? Like, remember back in the day, wrestlers got paid per, like, their reaction or whatever? Like, if you got booed and you're a face, you didn't necessarily get put up the card, or you didn't necessarily get the biggest bonus check, right? But nowadays, it's like, nope. John Cena's my guy. Yeah, I know, but half people are booing him right now. We should do something. Cena. Whether it's change him heel or do something different, we need to do something. Nope, he's my guy. Okay. Well, Roman Reigns, people are kind of shitting on him right now. Nope, he's my guy. Like, they got to this place where it was all business, right? They went public, and now it's different. We got to answer stockholders and shareholders and blah, 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 and all that stuff. Like, so it it's time. It's time to change it back to old school. Not to quote what Cuz says, because I hate that phrase, but I mean, it's true. You have to go back to that because the formula is there. Just fucking use it. Use the formula.
Go back to pro wrestling.
Yes, use the fucking formula. And guess what? I swear to you that your attendance will go up and your ratings will go up. I swear to you. It will. It just will.
Wouldn't it be funny if Vince just wants everyone to copy the sports entertainment model, and then that way when everyone's really sick and tired of it, even the indies doing it, WWE is the one that goes back to emulating the sport and the only one in town doing it?
That'd be great. Fucking AEW is fucking, gimmick battle royals and shit. Yeah, AEW is all gimmick battle royals and all the comedy shit and Joey Ryan, and then Vince is like, what are you fucking idiots doing? It's wins or losses, pal. What are we talking about?
Wins or losses matter here.
Well, you mean like the president's trying to do to us and fucking gaslight all of us into fucking thinking that what's real isn't?
What's real isn't. Well, reality isn't reality.
Oh, God. Alex Jones.
Is Dave dead?
I think Dave is. He's given up. Dave quit.
Yeah, you guys fucking done?
Whoa.
So are you guys happy with that? Are you guys good with that 20 minutes of bullshit where you sounded like every other fucking podcast? You guys good with that?
You didn't sound like the dark sessions weren't my idea, so don't call it every other podcast. We can go back to the old format.
I hope you guys are really proud of that, and I want you to release this shit because I can't wait to hear the fucking comments about how you sound like every other fucking podcast of repetitiveness and bullshit and fucking no structure. And
that's what the dark episodes are. Don't get mad at me.
I really fucking hope you enjoyed that. I really do.
Let's do the legacy of Steve Austin right now if that bothers you so much.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Let's not talk about it.
Hey, you know what? We can argue about this and we can be cool afterwards, but you guys have to know what you just fucking did. I'm going to fucking call you out on it. I'm going to fucking call you out on it. That's the whole point of this episode. Go back and listen to it and release that shit.
So when we do Stone Cold's episode, if I talk about Stone Cold, are you going to be like, I hope you guys are happy? You guys just talked about Stone Cold.
No, not at all. Not at all. And
I thought you were the mediator. I thought you were the host. I thought you were the guy who puts the brakes on. Yeah,
we're having fun now.
I thought you were the guy who puts the brakes on it.
Like the other one.
No, man, I want this whole fucking thing to release. I want the industry. I want to talk about it right now. I want it all to fucking fly. I want it all on
the dark sessions. We don't edit.
Everyone does is watch Raw and SmackDown, and they say, "Well, they could have done this on Raw." It's all everyone else podcast.
I'm telling you, man. You guys,
we're just talking like, basic, formulas.
How was the first 5 minutes of the show different than what we just did? We were all saying what we think should change, right? How is it different?
I'm not saying the first 5 minutes. I'm saying the last 15.
The last 15 is what we were talking about. It's just this dark sessions. We're shooting from the hip, right? Isn't that the theme here?
No, yeah, that's what.
I don't know, Dave. You're the mediator. You tell me. You could have stepped in any moment, and you didn't.
This is not.
I stepped in 3 times, bro. You talked over me like at least 3 or 4
not
times.
Just me personally. Cuz had to have talked over you at least once. I'll claim twice on that, but
and that's probably true, Jess. That's probably true.
That's all I want. Fair,
dark matches allows us to.
That's all you wanted. All you just wanted vindication on the fact that Cuz interrupted me at least once or twice.
Dave, you get me. You get me.
Hey.
To be fair, I love you too, bro. I love you too.
Dark matches, so we can have a free for all, regardless, because it's not our normal every week format. So this gives us the freedom to.
No, you know what happened, Cuz right now
wrestling.
Dave's a bear trap, and he fucking set himself in his pile of leaves, and he let us walk right over it, and he clamped down on our knees, and then he's just like, "Gotcha."
Bear trap.
That's what Dave did. Fucking lured us.
No one likes bear trap. Bear traps.
Dave knows that we don't edit dark sessions. We don't edit any of this stuff. Dave knows it's all going to make the air.
If you guys don't want to fall into fucking bear traps, stop digging holes.
No,
I don't. And setting them yourself.
We're just having fun. Hey, we would. Hey, to be fair, we would if we weren't recording, we'd still be fucking saying the same shit we just said.
That's true. That's true.
We're not going
it is all true.
Dave is 50-50 booking, and Cuz and I are the future, and we want prelims. So that's what it is. If you want to associate it,
I don't think there's any disagreement there.
His nickname is Dave 50-50 booking.
Jesus Christ! I almost fell asleep. You guys sang me a lullaby. It was fucking great.
Would have.
It was tender. It was
Cuz and I would be talking about Alex Jones right now. We'd be fucking going nuts right now. It'd be great. If you didn't fucking come out to spoil the party. And Cuz you asked for him, you're like, "Where's Dave? Why the fuck would you do that? Don't ever do that again."
I know.
If Dave goes away, let him go.
Dave just buried the podcast.
No, I didn't bury the podcast. I buried it too.
Anyway.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode there. Dave took things to another level. He was unhappy with the content we threw down right there, but you know what? Just like Jess and Dave had to in the past, now it's my turn to steer this back on track. and back onto the right path. As we conclude this episode, I hope you guys take the time to visit our YouTube channel at Our Wrestling Channel and give us a subscribe if you like the content that you're hearing, despite what Dave might have said. Go back and listen to our past episodes. Last week we released the Legacy of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Great episode. A lot of people are, they're liking it. We're getting some good positive reviews on that one. But we have several others. We have the Legacy of the Ultimate Warrior, the Legacy of the Macho Man Randy Savage. And stay tuned, because a week from the release date of this episode, you will get the Legacy of Owen Hart. That's a good episode, so definitely keep that on your calendars. And also give us a follow at O.W.P 2019 on Instagram. And we also have a SoundCloud page where you can also listen to all these episodes. I know that might be more convenient for some of you with YouTube. If you don't have the music YouTube subscription, you have to keep the screen on for the video to be playing. So SoundCloud gives you that ability to download the podcast and listen to them on the go. I know that's pretty convenient for those of you that have long commutes to work. Some of you got to drive 2-3 hours away from where you live. And hey, how much better of a companion can you get with you on the road than a pro wrestling podcast? More specifically, Our Wrestling Podcast, because Our Wrestling Podcast is your wrestling podcast. Until next time.